Soyinka.
I was a member of the Pirates Confraternity in 75. And guess what? The principle, the rudder blades that he put together at that time is what is in me. And part of it is that you say it as it is. And on deck, we'll say, is no friend, no foe. And that's why I'd like people to, what I'm going to say now, I'd like people to look at it first. He won't mind. He created, this part of people like him and Fela Kuti created this man sitting in front of you, and that's what they were known for. Professor doesn't understand the social media. He's way out of his league. When I say way out of his league, I don't mean intellectually. Even I, at my age, I'll be 70 next year, you know, I struggled to keep up. So I've ignored some aspects. There is nothing called social media. The social media is not, you can't say this is the social media. It's amorphous. It's amorphous. And some of the things that he complains about are societal problems. It's the marketplace. And so if you go to the marketplace and you mingle with them, you take it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. He is complaining about the language they use in the social media. He called the first lady. It was said that he called her a sheepopotamus. I stand to be corrected. If he says he didn't say that, I'll take it in good faith. But that's the report that we got. So it's a, even when members of the Pirates now had a song I was singing during the campaign, he was the one who taught us to react to social issues. We didn't take it personal with the man. But that's what we did all our life when we were in school, fighting every day. I've been in this so-called struggle for a long time. And he was our motivator. So, but I also, and respectfully, I don't mean it in any derogatory manner, that I think that it's probably gone a bit too far. It's now time to take a back seat. Because age, whether you like it or not, sometimes I'm on air. Look at now. I was trying to remember Atedo Peter Side's name. Do you understand? Sometimes I'm on air and I'm holding the table. And you know, Sheriff, my guy, I hold him by the collar and say, I make a bit of fun out of it, but it is what it is. You forget, and age has, and I think that he doesn't understand what the social media is. When he was trying to pick up a fight with the he said that they are Obidients. They are no Obidients. They are not. Did you ever hear that? In fact, I don't even think the Obidients were even a member of any Labour Party. They were just there, you know. And in the social media, you put yourself into a group, they put this group together, they tell you, click you become a member. I mean, so I think that if he properly understood what the social media is all about, he wouldn't bother. And then those who surround him and are putting an ethnic coloration in everything, good luck to them. I'm not into all that. You know, because I do get a feeling that some people are saying, oh, this is against Yoruba. It's all a whole lot of nonsense. People run for ethnic cover when their competence is tested and is in doubt.
You get that? People always play the ethnic card. They run to that whenever their competence is put to question. Give me this. Here, just so you know, you have the idea of what it was like, especially for the likes of Soyinka, when he parlayed with Tifnumbu, Bokwari, and even Pastor Ruga, when they were issuing threat after threat on the then president, Jonathan. One of them was, if Jonathan tried to rig the election in 2015, they would form a parallel government in Nigeria. Soyinka was with them. Yeah, he was with them. He boldly came out and he asked Jonathan to call his wife to order. I'll show you that. Pastor Ruga here warning that they will form a parallel government in Nigeria if Jonathan should rig the election. Soyinka was with them. Well, these were not fascists then.
Parties saying they're going to form a parallel government. Yeah. What do you make of it? Well, that is a position.
Do you see it as inciting?
I don't think so. I don't think it's inciting. Why is that inciting? There's nothing that incites about that. I don't think that would necessarily lead anyone to violence or lead anyone to do anything.
Forming a parallel government, that's not calling for anarchy.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
But it could be.
No, not necessarily. Look at cases. Look at cases. Let's look at political history. Look at cases where persons, where the government, for instance, has decided on where the government decides that they're going to ignore the wishes of the electorate and simply override the wishes of the electorate. What the opposition has usually done in such cases is to reject the results of the elections and to say that they will constitute their own government, that they will constitute a government. That is simply a way of taking a stand. It simply is taking a stand against the government and putting the government under pressure. That has happened in several places in Africa, several places in the world, where people have said, on account of electoral injustice, they are going to do certain things and all of that. And if they do so, so long as they do not call anyone to violence, all they're saying is that we are also going to constitute ourselves into a government. If you fail if you are unjust or if you ignore the wishes of the electorate. Personally, I don't think that's necessarily incite.
This were the way they were talking, though. That's how they were speaking, all of them back then. They would tell him, "Wala mashale, we go if you dare, if you try." That's how they were speaking to him. Nobody called them fascists, though. I'm talking about a situation whereby opposite they were threatening the sitting president. Now, this is not even opposition. This is now like Nigerians saying, "We want this, we want that." All of now, where they believe say you won't make Nigeria work. The likes of Soyinka is now trying to compare you with terrorists who are killing people. He came out unprovoked. He called you fascist for calling out the system that rigged the election and covered it up. Made a drug dealer your president, a terrorist your vice president, a certificate forger your president. And you were there talking about that every day. And somebody like Soyinka, Bajwe, from nowhere, just came for you. And he wanted Obi to probably lick his ass. And that one too. If he didn't know about Soyinka, then probably he didn't even know anything. When it comes to those who are part and parcel of Nigeria Limited. Because Soyinka is one of those Thailand rice, is cocaine dealers. That's exactly what he said himself. There was never a time that Tifnumbu traded in rice, and there was never a time that Soyinka traded in rice. But suddenly, a few years back, Soyinka came out and said he was dealing in Thailand rice with Tifnumbu. He did the same thing when 83 million naira of River State money was spent for his birthday, when Amechi organized a birthday for him, gave his daughter an appointment in River State. And Amechi ran to him. The moment Amechi joined their APC, Soyinka had to stand up for Amechi. Yeah, you remember those days? That was the day, or those were the days when Soyinka had to call Patience Jonathan a hippopotamus. That the only connection she had to power is because of the bedroom. Congenital connection, something like it's because of her sexual organ. That is a woman. That is why she's connected to the president and power. How dare she be exercising and all of that? All because, say, Amechi, they gave her money. Amechi spent 83 million naira organizing birthday for him. And immediately, like, he will stand up and speak for Tifnumbu. He stood up and spoke for Rotifmi Amechi at the time. At least I have a clip.
The full security apparatus indicates that there's something beyond even that Madame herself. You know, my last word to her is that just be a lady first before being a first lady. In fact, you cannot be a first lady without being a lady. And that's the only advice I have for her. Because now it is evident that she's getting away with murder in this country only because she has the backing of her husband. And that she's being used, in my view, politically. When things get to a stage where an unelected person, a mere domestic appendage of power, can seize control of a place for 11 days, and as a result of her presence, the governor of that state is told by a policeman, you cannot pass here because the queen is there. I mean, what sort of jungle are we living in? So again, there is at the very least a vicarious responsibility that must be laid at the door of President Jonathan. And above all, I'm calling on the president, now openly, publicly, please curb the excesses of your wife. You know, she's a wife, she's an unconstitutional being. She should not be empowered to such an extent that she's flouting the prerogatives, the rights, and the responsibilities of the governor of any state, be this Lagos, Oyo State, Rivers, or wherever. Too much is too much. The papers have been crying. I read Youth Speak the other day on one of the pages of the papers, exactly the same thing. What is it? Is she the first lady we've had in this nation? The vulgarity has really become intolerable, and is being used, I notice, and this is the worst part of it, is now being used directly or indirectly to destabilize, or at least reduce the authority of an elected governor. And we have now reached the bottom of obscenity, and it's got to stop.
Nuisance lele.
Cornfessor Soyinka. That's what it, I mean, that same is upset. It was because Patience Jonathan, as well as Rotifmi Amechi, who was a PDP governor of Rivers State, joined Atiku and others to form APC. And Patience Jonathan, who was from Rivers State, was said to be flexing her power. I mean, we all saw that at that time. But Soyinka from Ogun State suddenly became elder statesman. You think he was doing it for Nigeria? No, come on. Amechi was not only that Amechi was paying him an allowance every now and then. Amechi actually put his daughter, his married daughter, Soyinka's married daughter, on a payroll in Rivers State for 8 years. And when Soyinka turned, I think when he turned 85 or 86, what did he turn to that time? Rotifmi, no, sorry, no, 85. I think it was when he turned 80. Was he 80? No, not 80. It should be 80, then 9 and 3 and all of that. Yeah, it should be when he turned 80 or 81 or something. Rivers State, they said they were celebrating Soyinka, Nobel laureate. They spent 83 million naira organizing birthday for that man. So that was when, they felt like Amechi was probably going to be removed by Patience. And Baba took it upon himself to speak out. This is vicarious. All those useless Oyinbo that ain't go to talk. He go speak up in front of our less educated, illiterate parents then. And those ones just like, this is vicarious. This is nefarious. This is and they'll be like, Dakun, kilowi, kini tumo nefarious. No. We need that big book to go and check the meaning. Nefarious. Ogbeni Imowe, Igiwe. The tree of knowledge. That's why that, and then he too, he will be walking about like, no wonder he kept his hair, like he kept, he kept dyeing his hair white until the bleach finally, right? Kept his hair white. So that it can be different. It can look different from far. And it can be like, if you say something, you will need a dictionary. Why do you need a dictionary to know the meaning of something somebody is saying if it's not nonsense? But he says that he does that for his spouse. Okay? Wherever his interest is protected, trust me, it will come out and it will come out and then start dropping that nonsense. Not with this generation. It's not going to work on us. It's not working though. But we know those of you are still like voluntary slaves, those of you are looking for respect. And you are cherry picking respect. Yorubas are always very respectful. Yorubas are always this. So do you mean that Yorubas respect is selected in your area? This Obankparo, Obasojo, right? Is your Igba Ikole when it comes to Tifnumbu and APC, Egbekegbe. All ye all ye Abobaku the bastards, right? Obasanjo is your packing, what do you call it? Waste packer. He doesn't deserve respect. In your own Yoruba respect, Yoruba culture, Obasanjo is not the type of Yoruba to be respected. Well, Peter Obi, in your own respect too, right? Peter Obi is over 60. He's old enough to be many of you's parents, but you have all the word for him. But when it comes to this wool-head, this wool-head con man, Cornfessor Soyinka, now you will remember that Yorubas have respect. One by one. Shami? We know, that's why we say all of us know what we did do. Okay? So in this regard, I might show you something. The Obidient, one of them actually responded, Ife.
Hello, my name is Ife Salako, and I'm making this video in direct response to what Professor Wole Soyinka said about His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, hoping that he shouldn't vie for presidency come 2027. And his reason being that the Obedients lacks good conduct, that we which I am one of them, we the Obedients, we don't conduct ourselves properly. And to start with, sir, what you said doesn't make any sense to start with, because the Obedients are not literally going to run government when Peter Obi becomes president. But let's even assume that it is about the followers, because that's what you kept on hammering on. The followers of Peter Obi, they lack good conduct, they are rude, they are fascist, whatever you want to call us, right? But the man that you are supporting, the people that are supporting him, they are killers, they are murderers, they are drug dealers, they are thugs everywhere. They are constituting daily nuisance across the country, the person you are supporting. But you have because apparently because you are a noble lawyer. See, Esa, Agbaman Toleni, sir. Let me speak to you in Yoruba, in the language you understand most. Agbaman Toleni, Agbatinyo Tole, Professor Wole Soyinka, and Daleru. And you should actually just, at your age, at 89, people should come to you. You should be where they come to for advice, for resolution of conflict, not the one causing conflict. Professor Wole Soyinka, you shouldn't be causing conflict in this country at your age. Let's even go by what you have caused in this country. The cultism that you started in Nigeria is still going there, causing problem. Young boys are still killing themselves. Or should we talk about when you went to use gun to waylay them at a radio station? Or because you are not satisfied with the government? And it is you now that is coming out to call some people different names. Sir, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbà yín tó lé sir, Professor Wole Soyinka sir. Ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbà yín tó lé. Ibi tẹ́ bá Nigeria dé, ẹ má bàjẹ́ jù báyìí lọ. You don't have a future in this country. We have the future in this country. You are 89. You have lived your time. The country is in disarray. Businesses are shutting down. Over 700 businesses gone. People are hungry. Inflation is over the roof. 2 days ago, the central bank still raised credit to 2 point something to 26 point something percent. And all you care about, not to even talk of exchange rates, but all you care about is Peter Obi not contesting in 2027. Esa, Eleka bayin tole, Emma da Nigeria du beche baje ilo. Hello, see me.
Thank you, brother. And that is an obedient. The obedient they want you to believe doesn't exist. I told you, if you pay attention very well, this they are obedient, disobedient, that. You will see the Yorubas at the forefront, young and old, standing out there and saying that if Numbu is a Yoruba man, he can never be the most that Yorubas have to offer. Impossible. But the likes of Wole Soyinka, they won't talk about the dwindling economy. He won't come out and call on Tifnumbu and his army of thieves to do something about the insecurity. No. He would rather spend his time, okay, but when it is time for him to sit down with the likes of Tifnumbu, then you will know about their Thailand rice business. A throwback. Look at that team. Look at him. Cornfessor.
Of exiled resistance, we look for all kinds of means to raise funds, including even trying to print redeemable bonds. I think we did print redeemable bonds. We were so confident of victory that we said, look, let's print bonds and sell those bonds, and the opposition triumphs. And we designed those bonds. Incidentally, you may not remember this, apparently the symbol that we used during that time, which was supposed to be symbolic of growth, because it was a shrub. Apparently, that shrub looked very much like marijuana. We didn't know it at the time. Somebody pointed it out later on. But finally, Bola said, what are we going to do? We have to find funds. I said, well, you're the businessman. What can you do? So, well, I've heard that there's a rice line between Taiwan and other places. I think that I can get a contract to sell rice between Taiwan and Africa. So I said, well, okay, go ahead and sell rice. He said, yes, but you see, they require letters of recommendation. And I said, well, so you have to write one. I said, me, I don't know anything about rice. I don't know anything about business. Nobel laureate, write and say, we're trading in rice. Give the letter to me. I will take it to the government of Taiwan, and they will supply the rice. I will sell. I will use the money for the revolution. Then, after I came, we all came back. My house had been more or less made inhabitable, and I took a sort of pied-à-terre, a small place in Lagos where my house was being fixed. I began living there, but I found the work was so slow, so that I stayed in Lagos for some time. So I got this bare house, which was in fact destroyed already, and the owners wanted to get rid of the house, fortunately, reasonably cheap. And so we moved in there, in this unfurnished place, and suddenly a vehicle rolled up, and what did it contain? In fact, I thought it contained rice, leftover rice from Taiwan. But it was pots and pans. I mean, what more essential thing do you require if you're moving into an unfurnished building? You need to cook. His wife, Remy, sitting there, had thought about these details and sent pots and pans and fridge or whatever to the house to enable myself and my family to survive until my house was repaired in Ogun State. And there are a few other things, but I won't tell them here. I was delighted that the younger generation of exile.
Cocaine in Lonta. There's nothing like Thailand rice. Cocaine in it, then be drug dealers. He's a Nobel laureate. They asked him to write a letter to Taiwan